PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to PACTV Community News. We have a great show this week with exciting stories from the South Shore. We visit the second annual Massachusetts 400 Forum to see how the 2020 celebration plans are connecting to the rest of Massachusetts. And we stop into Duxbury's 2020 group to see how they're also making local plans that all play into one of the biggest tourism events in the state's history.
We visit an open house and art experience at the Reed Center in Kingston, and we'll meet a local man who is looking to help Plymouth with the Keep Mass Beautiful national program.
Health and Wellness brings us healthy eating information from Plymouth Fitness.
We have a special in-studio guest from Gatehouse Media who will talk to us about the importance of civic responsibility and voter turnout at the local level.
It's a great show, and we begin in Pembroke at the Legislative Breakfast. The Pembroke Chamber of Commerce and our local legislators recently assembled for their annual legislative breakfast at the Pembroke Country Club. Though the conversation was business as usual, a very serious theme seemed to permeate the business community's list of concerns. PCN stopped in to listen and learn.
Anytime we have a breakfast like this or a luncheon, whatever the event might be, the whole idea is for value added for our members. And of course, being a Chamber of Commerce, our members are business owners, whether they be one-man shops or whether they be a good-sized company. Everybody has different kinds of issues, but all business owners have baseline issues. And there's a lot that's going on right now. We hope to get answers from our legislators in a nice face-to-face setting.
So it's great to have the Pembroke Chamber and other South Shore business groups invite us to these kinds of breakfasts. I find every time I walk out of these, I come up with an idea. And it's from talking to people, talking to folks at PACTV, talking to folks, local business leaders. I filed legislation that arose out of ideas that were brought to me here at these kinds of breakfasts. So it really is invaluable for me and for all of my fellow colleagues, Senator DiMacedo, Representative Campbell, Coulter, the whole crew, Representative Muratori. We really enjoy these things. Frankly, it's a nice break to get away from the State House, talk to folks, real business folks, hear what their concerns about, and to get ideas. And, they don't always pan out, but a lot of them do. And so it's a fun thing for us, so we always look forward to it.
Well, even though it isn't directly a business issue, everything affects our members away from the business. And the opiate problem in the high schools right now is just a monumental problem in this state and in this country. And we'd like to try to find out today just what the legislation has in mind to try to help support those that are battling that problem. We've stood behind Titans Against Drugs now since they came into being a couple years ago. We're a big supporter of them, try to do whatever we can to help arrive at a solution for the problem.
Events like this make me feel really good because what we're trying to do at Pembroke Titans Against Drugs is bring the whole community together to deal with the issues that substance abuse brings to the communities. We don't think it's the schools or the police or the fire or the government's specific responsibility, but I think everyone needs to come together. So this is one of those events that shows that, and I think it's really important that the businesses are involved, the whole community comes together and listens, understands what's going on, but also thinks about how we can all work together and help it.
The business community is affected by the opiate problem in a number of ways. Certainly those that are affected by opiates are a problem when people go to hire new employees. It puts an extra burden on the business owner to make sure that I'm not bringing somebody in that's going to be a problem going forward. It also costs the town money to try to support solutions, to try to support rehab and helping these people. So if we can get on the ground floor and try to prevent a lot of this before it ever gets a chance to take hold, that helps everybody, including the business owners here in town.
Julie, you were there at this breakfast, so tell me, what was the energy like?
It was great. It was terrific. I've gone a number of times. I'm so impressed with our local legislators. They work across the aisle. They work together. They work on important issues, and the energy is always amazing in that room. And we think our local chambers are great too.
And they're always accessible.
Always accessible.
I very much appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.
Plymouth is celebrating its 400th anniversary in the year 2020. The main part of the celebration will take place over a year's time, and the reach of its impact is growing daily. The state is paying attention as well as several other large towns that have major anniversaries coming up. The Massachusetts 400 organization held their second annual day-long forum in Plymouth that brought all the players together to see how the dots can connect the entire Commonwealth and how tourism can abound for all.
As we talk about Plymouth, we call this Plymouth 400.
So this is the Massachusetts 400 Forum today. This is our second annual, and I have to say, really the energy in the room is palpable. The fact that we're talking about collaborating with other communities is really so very important, and other countries. So this is a global commemoration, and people are really starting to see that now.
Today is an absolutely exciting day, not only for Plymouth, but for the Commonwealth. We have representatives from Europe, there are major museums and the other cities throughout the Commonwealth that are here talking about a 400th commemoration, not only for Plymouth, but for other cities and towns in the Commonwealth. There is a great deal of enthusiasm. People want to commemorate. We all see the economic benefits of doing this, and we also see that we're starting to build a legacy and something that we can leave our communities with, something better than what we have today.
This celebration for 2020 is not just about Plymouth, although I like to think that we have the most predominant piece. We want to be able to work with Salem and Provincetown and in Boston and some of the other areas. And one of the things that we need to think about as a group is how we're going to move people around this community and others. And we're going to have some of that happen today.
Mayors and selectmen from many communities were in attendance as they planned their commemorative anniversaries and connected all to the bigger picture happening statewide.
I'm pleased to be here in Plymouth this morning. Grateful for the people of Plymouth and the folks that have been running the Plymouth operation, getting ready for Plymouth 400th, because Plymouth is really setting the stage for the entire Commonwealth and eventually the entire nation, as it all began in Plymouth. So City of Quincy is proud to be here. We're grateful for all the work we've gotten to date in cooperation through the folks here in Plymouth, the leaders here in Quincy, and we look forward to working with them as we plan our celebration for 1625. You're setting the stage. We're watching closely.
So definitely excited to be here and learn about all the plans that Plymouth is putting in place for their 400th anniversary. We're about 10 years beyond where they are in terms of our anniversary in 2026, and really are hoping to build on some of their lessons and share information and opportunities for us to do this right. And thankful to the town of Plymouth for really taking the lead and bringing us all together to recognize this important decade that's ahead with so many communities celebrating their 400th anniversary. It's great for Massachusetts.
We're really excited in Provincetown to get ready to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of the Mayflower in Provincetown. That's right, not Plymouth, but she stopped in the harbor of Provincetown first. They stayed for 6 weeks, and even though they left, their legacy continues. We have Alden Street, we have Bradford Street, we have Howland Street, we have Alden Street in Winslow, and that's because they stopped there first.
Keynote speaker Jay Ash, Secretary of Housing and Economic Development for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, was on hand to address the incredible tourism boost these celebrations can bring to everyone and how the state plans to support them.
Here today we have representatives from numerous communities that are all thinking about their 400th celebration and all thinking about how tourism plays both a short-term and a long-term a part of their overall economic strategy. We believe that as well, and one of the reasons I'm here is to let people know that tourism is an important part of our economic development plan going forward, and we're looking forward to working with them to make sure that all of our dreams are fulfilled. The economic development planning has turned into now action on legislative initiatives. So we've filed a major bill to promote economic development activities that are not tourism related, and we're about to hire a new tourism director and are looking forward to engaging the tourism community in a discussion about those things that they and we all feel are important to advance tourism throughout. So we're looking at the end of this year, beginning of next year, actually filing a plan. It may require legislative action, it may not, to help advance tourism in Massachusetts.
This is a wonderful time at Mass 400. here because we have people from every segment of society, from transportation, infrastructure, architecture, archaeology, and historians who are trying to bring together why the significance of celebrating the pilgrims coming here, and as a result of their faith, bringing them here, and then what happened as a result of that. So we have all of this coming together at the same time. Everybody can network in the hallways. It's wonderful. We're preparing for 2020, and it's coming soon.
Kim, the Plymouth 400 is such a wonderful group, and PACTV is very, very happy to be one of their founding partners for the next 4 years and beyond.
Yes, they're going to be working closely with them on the amazing events that they have. But I was the one who did this story, and it was the excitement with people from all over the state contributing to this and building off of it, and hopefully the state can get more and more involved too with the tourism.
Yep.
And it's just going to be an incredible time for the state of Massachusetts.
There's going to be a lot of people here in the next 4 years plus. Many South Shore towns are considering their roles and positions in the coming Plymouth 400 celebration in the year 2020. Tourism will extend all over the towns of the South Shore. Several communities, such as Duxbury, have already formed a 2020 group and started their own planning. PCN met up with the Duxbury 2020 board at a recent meeting.
Plymouth is celebrating its 400th anniversary of the Pilgrims arriving, and as well we have a link to that history because we have 11 Pilgrims from the original ship that actually came up and relocated in Duxbury. So we got together at first as a town committee to plan a commemoration and also to look at logistics and things like tourist information offices and that sort of thing. And after we operated a little while as a town committee, they decided to split us off and we became our own nonprofit. So this year we actually filed and became our own nonprofit with the blessing of the town of Duxbury. Since then we've been having meetings every 2 months and we've been looking at some fairly basic issues that we want to cover off for the commemoration. We've become a business partner of the Plymouth 400th, which is really the big organization in Plymouth that's going to be getting ready for this celebration. And now we're looking at issues related to the town of Duxbury. So the sort of things we're looking at is helping to coordinate events that various historical organizations and cultural organizations in town might want to put on. We're looking at traffic-related issues. We're currently negotiating with the state about putting in a traffic light at exit 10. We're planning potentially a short film about Duxbury's unique role in the history of the pilgrims coming into Plymouth and then settling in Duxbury and what our unique contribution to that history is.
Our job on the committee, along with, there must be 6 or 7 different, maybe 8 different aspects of the committee, is to refurbish Miles Standish Monument Park. So we're doing that with Mass Department of Recreation South. So this group is trying to clean up the monument space, and the inside of the monument is pretty horrible. Paint's all coming off the wall, but outside we'll get rid of most of the poison ivy and put extra seating around for picnics and extra parking and a big information sign that the state will help us with.
This will really give the people of Duxbury an opportunity to get engaged in local and regional history, and we can all commemorate the landing of the Pilgrims and their unique contribution, not only to our area, but the overall cultural fabric of the United States. If anyone would like to join and help us out or need more information, just contact Monty Healy. He's the president of Duxbury 2020 Inc., and we'll be happy to bring you on board.
The Kingston Recreation Department recently held an open house and art experience for the community at the Reed Center, which included everything from games to pottery to dance. PCN stopped in to see some of the programs the Kingston Rec Department has to offer.
Today there is a community open house and an interactive art experience at the Reed Community Building, and it's an opportunity for the Recreation Department to host this event and have some collaborative activities with some of the other communities and organizations. The Kingston Public Library is here, the Veterans Agent, There is the Off-Leash Dog Committee and other representatives, some of the Boy Scouts. And then downstairs, we're actually trying to create more of a community art studio. So we have some local artists and some of our instructors that are also doing some interactive art experience downstairs. Some of the participants that will be coming today, we imagine, are some of the local residents here in Kingston, and then also some other organizations might stop by and to see what is being offered here in Kingston. Some of the organizations, one of them is from Pembroke, so maybe some of the people from there. So it's families as well as children and adults. We offer all kinds of programs here at the Recreation Department, and some of these organizations also, like the Veterans Agent, obviously it's a different age group. So we expect to see any number of people here today. The other thing that we wanted to let people know about is we're actually doing a rehabilitation of the Captain Fred L. Bailey Playground, which was originally built in 1926 as well and completed, and it's a big part of Kingston's history. We did receive some money from the Community Preservation Committee, and we're looking to do some additional fundraisers to finalize that project and hopefully have that completely built by the beginning of July of this year.
The summer program basically is just a way for kids to come and just recreationally play sports. We do like Olympic week, we go on field trips, we have entertainers come. And really it's just a place for kids to come and have fun and not have to worry about stress that either they're having at home or stress from school since it's the summer. Hopefully no stress. So yeah, it's just a fun place for them to come to and enjoy themselves. So in the spring I run a backyard flag football program, which is essentially a non-competitive version of football. Each kid is placed on a certain team, and some of our summer counselors are coaches. It's just a way for kids to just kind of get away from their youth, competitive sports and just have fun. That's kind of how we came up with the name Backyard. So it's like backyard football. So.
Keep Mass Beautiful is a nonprofit which is part of the national Keep America Beautiful organization. The mission is to empower residents, businesses, and community leaders to embark on programs that clean and beautify areas in towns across the state. They work to bring the people in a community together to accomplish these efforts. Locally, the group is connected with Plymouth's own Litter Lady to help Plymouth to become an official affiliate of Keep Mass Beautiful.
My inspiration to become the Litter Lady was when I moved here, I was walking down at the waterfront and yeah, there was litter, 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 litter. I was so disappointed and disturbed, and I called town hall and I said, what are we going to do about this? There's litter all over the place. And they said, I know. This nice lady said, I know, there's a group that's just starting to do some cleanup.
Keep Massachusetts Beautiful is a state affiliate of Keep America Beautiful, which is a national organization that's been around since the 1950s. You may remember them from the crying Indian ads of the 70s, if you're old enough to remember that. And as a state affiliate, we're trying to grow the number of local affiliates. There are currently 3 in Massachusetts, in Mansfield, North Attleboro, and Springfield, and we're trying to really galvanize and mobilize people across the state to get together to clean up their own neighborhoods, their own towns, and then collectively clean up the state of Massachusetts.
Our cleanup group, Hometown Cleanup, we get together twice a year and we gather people from all over town. Plymouth is a big town, and so we have lots of groups of people all over town. Sometimes we pick up 900 bags of trash in a day. And so it's coming up on April 30th. And we're getting people together to go out and pick up litter, to get it off the streets and off the beaches and out of the parks, and that's our mission and that's our goal, is to get it up off the ground.
There are 2 kinds of people in the world, I guess you could say. There are the litterers, and then there are people who hate the litter, who want to clean it up. And I think the haters of litter are probably outnumber the litterers by a huge margin, but unfortunately, when you look around, you might conclude otherwise because there's so much litter out there. So we also need to change behaviors. That's a big part of the solution, is education, and just getting people to not litter in the first place would solve the problem.
The litter issue is it's not a spicy issue. It's not spicy. But people see me and they remember me.
Health and wellness brings us back to our friends and neighbors at Plymouth Fitness for some information on healthy eating.
Hi, I'm Cass Healy, personal trainer and health coach here at Plymouth Fitness with your PCN Health and Wellness segment. Clean eating. It's a popular phrase, we hear it a lot these days, but what does it really mean and how does it help you reach your health and wellness goals? So basically, clean eating means choosing nutritious foods in their most natural state or as close to it as you possibly can. It's not really a specific diet, but more about a lifestyle approach to nutrition. So it means choosing healthy fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats and proteins. But it also means avoiding foods that can easily cause weight gain or contribute to diseases like diabetes, high cholesterol, and heart disease. So limiting packaged foods, processed foods, fried foods, and even sugary sweets is just as important a part of smart and clean eating. And remember, when you're looking at a label, the fewer ingredients listed, the better. And don't forget, the best foods have no labels at all. So by focusing on whole, nutritious foods, learning to read food labels, and avoiding packaged and processed foods, you'll be much more likely to reach your weight loss goals, feel better overall, prevent disease, and get that much closer to living your healthy and fit lifestyle. Thanks for watching. This has been your PCN Health and Wellness segment.
This week on set, we're pleased to have Greg Mathis, who's the editor-in-chief for Gatehouse Media, also known as Wicked Local. Welcome, Greg.
Thanks, Julie.
We're going to talk about town elections, local elections, because this is the time of year where every town has town meeting and every town has local elections. And it's kind of inconceivable to me why turnout at local elections is so low compared to state and national elections. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, the numbers certainly bear that out. Using Plymouth as an example, and I think a lot of the towns mirror this. The last two town elections, 2015, 2014, 12% turnout in 2015, 11% turnout in 2014. So compare that to 2014 when we elected Charlie Baker governor, 55% of voters turned out for that. And then in the last presidential election, we had 76%.
Yeah.
So the numbers don't lie. I mean, it's a pretty big discrepancy. Part of it is the presidential election. You're going to get a turnout. It's kind of like the Super Bowl, not in terms of timing, but everyone's kind of focused on it.
Sure.
They may not know a lot about politics or about the candidates, but like the Super Bowl, if you don't know a lot about football, you're still watching it.
It's the big kahuna.
Yeah, so they still want to participate. So you're going to get people for that. So why don't people turn out for the local elections? I think it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think we don't see a lot of participation from candidates running for office in these local towns. It's a huge time commitment.
Right.
It may take some money if you're running against somebody. So that tends to eliminate some people from doing that. So if you don't have the candidates, then you're not generating the interest in the local election. So
Right.
I think that's a big part of it.
Right. And I've noticed, I've been a Pembroke resident for almost 30 years, and I've noticed that the number of people running for a particular seat has gone down, down, and down, and down.
Yeah.
So there's, in a lot of cases, there's a ton of uncontested races.
Right.
And that probably causes people to not show up at the polls, too.
Absolutely. If you're not voting on a Proposition 2.5 override or something important like that, if you just have one or two contested races and it's not a selectman or a school committee or one of those more high-profile races, people will tend to stay away because they figure no matter how they vote, it's not going to matter because these people are going to be elected.
Anyway, now do you think people don't understand what positions are? Like selectmen is a little bit more obvious because a lot of people watch selectmen's meetings. But the Board of Health, Planning Board, things, school committee, things that people maybe need to be more educated on what actually is entailed in running and being on one of those committees.
Right.
Speak to that.
Yeah. Well, just in terms of that, I mean, a lot of the important decisions start at those boards before they reach a selectman's office or before they reach a town meeting. I mean, and I think part of the reason why we don't have as many people running for Board of Health or in people appointed to some of the volunteer committees is you have to have a level of expertise. I mean, with Board of Health, I mean, you're looking at a certain skill set for people that need to be interested in that position. But those positions are very important because a lot of the local decisions start there.
Right. And so to help educate the public, I know we are partnering with Gatehouse to create candidate forums, which we will be having for contested elections in the towns that we cover. To us, we wanted to do this because we believe that there is not enough education out there about the candidates or the positions they're running for.
Yeah, and we, in our newspapers and on our Wicked local websites, we do try to educate people as issues come up. Whether it's a sewer issue or pay-as-you-throw trash program, and those are the types of things that come up at town meetings and our boards are making decisions on. But you don't wrap it up into a nice bow and hit people over the head and say, this is important, you should be paying attention. So, getting out, I think partnering with PACTV on these forums is excellent. We've participated in forums before with the League of Women Voters. WATD has hosted some debates, and we usually have reporters and editors participate in that. But this is a chance to to bring out some of the issues, get the candidates out in front of people. I think in terms of candidates not having a lot of money to advertise and stuff, this type of thing will really help expose them.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And information about our co-sponsored candidate forums will be on our website, pactv.org. So thank you very much, Greg. That was interesting.
Thank you.
Let's get people educated and get them out to vote.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks for watching this week's show. You can find out about everything we do on our website at pactv.org. We're also on Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, and we will see you next week for more local news from PACTV Community News.